Welcome to the American Grown Podcast, hosted by Austin Sullivan. The American Grown Podcast will focus on people from different walks of life and their journey to where they are now. Now, turn up your volume and settle in for a great episode.
Hi, I'm Austin Sullivan. This is the American Grown Podcast, recorded inside the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Today, we have Chad Ryland. He is a graduate student and kicker for the University of Maryland. He went from kicking in the Cedar Bowl to being a team captain for the Terrapins at the recent Duke's Mayo Bowl in North Carolina and recent NFL Combine Invitee. Chad, welcome to episode 20 of the American Grown Podcast.
Thanks, Sully. Appreciate you having me on. I like 20 too, a little even number there.
Yeah.
That feels pretty good.
You like that?
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you making it in and joining me for this episode. And I want to start off with a nice, easy question. What is a terrapin for all the listeners out there?
Yeah, for everybody out there that doesn't know what a terrapin, specifically a Maryland terrapin is, it's a turtle. Probably one of the lower mascots in terms of intimidation factor, but up there in terms of uniqueness with, I think there's only one school in the country where their mascot's a terrapin, and it's the University of Maryland.
That's awesome. Yeah, honestly, I had to do a little research before you came along, because I'm like, what the heck's a terrapin? Like, I just thought maybe some kind of bird is what I thought, but no, I was way off. So let's start off growing up here in Lebanon County. What was that like?
Yeah, no, so I grew up only child. Two parents are super supportive of everything I ever did, whether it's sports, when I was in the band in elementary school, middle school, anything. They were super supportive along with my extended family. And growing up in Lebanon County, like, started off normal, and then I slowly started to become a bigger fish in a small pond, and I wanted to branch out and see where I could go college-wise. Grew up playing soccer and baseball my whole life, mainly a soccer guy, played travel soccer year-round, and then baseball in the spring. Got to high school, played varsity soccer as a freshman and all 4 years in high school, played varsity baseball from sophomore year through senior year, and then started kicking football my junior year. And ever since started kicking, that sort of took off and directed my career path.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, it took off for you for sure. So let's hit on the soccer and the baseball stuff. How did you go from, I mean, I guess soccer isn't a far stretch, but like baseball and then to football? Like, how did you want to play football? Like, who was it? Was it your father? Like, who said, hey, you should try kicking?
Yeah, no, it was partially my dad. And then partially, too, we had watched, it was at Cedar Crest. Cedar Crest played Lower Dolphin. And the kicker for Lower Dolphin at the time was Joe Julius, who went on to play for Penn State.
Yeah.
He's a name some people might know. And watched him kick the ball through the back of the end zone, really have a good leg. And knowing his soccer background, Dad's like, hey, maybe that's something you could do, have some fun doing, more of a fun thing, just to get the experience playing football. Not necessarily thinking that would lead to my college, and future.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, while you're playing soccer, baseball, was it ever on your mind to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to try football?
Yeah, no, it really wasn't until we got a pair of the metal kicking sticks that sort of support the ball so you can practice, and then 2 footballs and going out to the field and starting to kick, and then all of a sudden I'm back to the 40-yard line. One of my first or second times out, hitting a 50-yard field goal. And it happened to be at LVC, where the LVC football team was holding a meeting in the bleachers.
Really?
Or like they were waiting for the coach to come out, talk to him, whatever. And I'm on the field. I'm like, well, they're not using the field. I'm going to keep kicking. Yeah. Some of the guys saw me kicking pretty good as a high school right before my junior year, so sophomore summer-ish.
Okay.
They start heckling me a little bit, chirping at me, and then keep backing up. And I'm at the 50-yard line. Dad's like, you sure you want to?
Yeah.
You sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let's bang it. Like, let's hang it and bang it.
Right.
End up drilling it, and all those guys are going like kind of crazy. Like they stop the heckling and sort of switch to like,
this guy's good.
Shit, this guy's legit.
And how young you were too.
And I was, and honestly, I didn't know anything. Like I was just out there kicking. I actually think I was taking my steps backwards. So a lot of times you'll see guys walk backwards. Okay. So their eyes are always on the ball towards the target. I completely turned my back, took 1, 2, 3 steps, turned around, go 2 over, and then kicked and made it. But I was very young, very inexperienced. But it was that sort of was the catalyst.
That's a sign right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
for you to make that kick
Yeah,
at that age.
yeah.
And I got to ask you, because you mentioned about the walking backwards, you don't still walk like that?
No,
Turn
no,
your
no,
back?
no.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm.
That could be your signature, though.
I
That
know.
could have been like, I don't know.
I might have gotten made. I might get made fun of.
Yeah, but then if you kick like that, like you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, beside the point. Well, that's good. That's awesome. I mean, so, and I had read a little bit about you doing some research that you, and it blew my mind. You and your dad would sneak in, maybe not sneak in, but okay,
Yep.
crawl under the fence at Earl Bolt Stadium here at Cedar Crest, and that's kind of where you would practice kicking.
Yeah. No, I can go full into detail
Yeah.
about that now because I'm long gone.
Right. Yeah,
and I
yeah.
actually think they keep it open now a lot of the
Okay.
time, so kids don't have to do what I did anymore. But on that visitor bleacher side, closer to the scoreboard, there's like a double wide gate. That's a big gate. And I don't know if it's from water runoff or whatever, but there's big enough gap that a high school junior and senior, whatever I was at the time, all those years, and his 50-year-old father could slide under, throw the ball back over, and then go up on the
phenomenal.
field, kick, and exit the same way.
Yeah. Now, whose idea was it? Was this your idea, or was it both you and your dad?
I think it was a partial of both because I always like kicking on turf because the grass isn't that well maintained over at the high school.
Right.
So whenever we'd kick on the grass, if I didn't kick well or whatever, I would get visibly upset. My dad didn't like the grass either, and yada yada yada. So we're like, screw it, we're going.
That makes sense.
We're kicking on the turf. Like it's there to get better. Let's get better.
Yeah. And I think almost all fields are now for the most part. It's rare that it's grass. Now, did you at the time, or maybe now looking back, did you look at that as bonding with your father?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think football has really brought my dad and I closer. We were already super close, both my parents, but for even my whole family, all of a sudden we're kind of a football family. We never were. So we're in it pretty deep, but it definitely those days out there with my dad, days and nights, where it's just me and him. It's certainly because he's seen my highs, he's seen my lows.
Yeah.
He sees the product I put on the field Saturdays and hopefully Sundays. So he knows everything. And then my mom does as well. She's she's walked around the track a couple times
That's awesome.
to be there. But my dad's shagged more footballs than I can count.
Yeah, well, shout out to your father and your mom. Shout out to
100%.
both of them. Seriously. After high school, what were your plans?
Yeah, no, college was always the plan. But honestly, I didn't know what it was going to be in terms of, was I going to play? Was I going to be a regular student? Because I did have some academic opportunities to have money to go to schools.
Yeah.
But deep down, I knew I wanted to play. And it was, I think, my junior year winter when I went to my first Coles kicking camp where I then performed well, got invited to this underclassmen challenge, which was essentially the top 50 underclassmen that weren't going to be rising seniors the next year.
Yeah.
Which was down in Orlando, Florida, to come and compete. So it was all the best guys together. Got ranked 24th or somewhere between 24 and 26 in the country for my class. And that's when I'm like, okay, maybe I can go kick college football.
Okay.
So then once that happened, I sort of started to get obsessed with the college football, watching YouTube videos of like all these different schools, their facilities, the gear they get. I was going full speed towards college football. And what's crazy is I didn't have any offers rolling into my senior year of high school. Sure, coaches would pull through to the high school.
Yeah.
A lot of Division II, Division III, and some Division I FCS, like your New Hampshire, Maine,
Okay. Yep.
Lehigh, those sort of smaller Division I schools.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I had this I don't even know, like this belief that I knew I was going to go play high level college football. And it went all the way through the year. Went on my first Division I FBS visit to Eastern Michigan in December, where I met Coach Nunez, saw the facilities, sort of got introduced, everything. Didn't have an offer at the time yet. It was just a visit. Go back home, about 2 weeks pass, get a call from Coach Creighton and say, hey, we want to offer you to come play football here. What do you think? I'm like, well, Coach, I really appreciate it, but I'd like to see everything one more time. Make it back out there, go on a visit. Not an official visit, still unofficial with my parents, see everything one last time, talk to coaches a little bit more. And remember we go up in the office to sort of have the sit down with Coach Creighton, Coach Nunez, who was my special teams coordinator, and my parents. And my parent, I think it was my dad or my mom's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'm going to commit here. So when they came in, I told them like, hey, Coach, like I want to take you up on the offer. I want to commit. And I just remember I just started crying.
Well, yeah, it's huge.
It was crazy because I never thought that I was going to play Division I football.
Yeah.
And deep down I did, but like at the same time, nothing was secure.
So, you went to, what was it, Cole's kicking camp? Like
Yep.
kicking
Yeah,
camp?
yeah.
So that got you hooked, it sounds like.
100%.
Like that really got you hooked.
Yep.
And then you said you just had this like gut feeling, what'd you say, started like senior year of high school that...
Yeah, sort of that junior, senior year of high school when I got ranked. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm a top 25 guy, 5-star guy in my class for kickers. Like,
Yeah.
I want to keep climbing. Like, I liked having that ranking of, I obviously wasn't the best, but I'm obviously very, very good.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that competition with yourself then.
It was.
Okay.
100%.
I see.
100%.
So then, okay, so you tell your parents, hey, I'm committing. Of course, it's emotional, right? It's a big, big step forward.
Yeah.
What was your time like at Eastern Michigan?
It was phenomenal. I was really fortunate to win the job as a freshman from a guy that was a couple year starter, all MAC guy.
How was he? How did he take it?
Not the best.
Yeah.
He ended up leaving the team, or he sort of just departed once it was week 1 happened. I started. Everyone knew I was starting. Made my field goal. Week 2, this is probably the biggest, one of the biggest, if not the biggest moment in my college career, was week 2 at Purdue. As a true freshman, I hit a game-winning field goal there.
Nice.
To knock off Purdue. We were obviously still an FBS school, but a Group of 5 school compared to a Power 5 Big Ten school, and we beat them there I'm a freshman kicking a game-winning field goal.
What was that like?
That was incredible. I didn't even know it was one of those things again. I didn't know what I was doing. It was probably for the best that I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay. Because you're still, when you say you didn't know what you're doing, like, you knew the steps in the process, but yet
it's my 3rd year of football.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's Division I football.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's true. It's your 3rd year of football.
Yeah, in front of whatever 50,000 people that were in Ross-Ade Stadium in Indiana at Purdue University. Yeah,
that is kind of crazy when you think about it, because I didn't think about it. You're right. So your 3rd year of football. I mean, people have played pee-wee football, midget football, all the way up through, and here 3rd year of football, you have a natural talent. You're hungry to better yourself, and then here you make this huge field goal to win the game.
Yeah, it was one of the top moments for me athletically. And then that was probably one of the most exciting nights to go back to campus with some of the guys and celebrate. We celebrated accordingly that night, and that sort of really also sort of put the cherry on top of a big win.
Well deserved for sure. So now at Eastern Michigan, did you go? I think I saw, was it 2 bowl games, 2 or 3 there?
3, yeah. Played in 3 bowl games at Eastern Michigan. Played in the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. Played in the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit, Michigan. And then the Lending Tree Bowl in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't win a single bowl game at Eastern Michigan, though.
No?
No. That was an emotional...
I bet.
That was a herder.
It's highs and lows for sure.
Highs and lows. Yeah. No, it was... we lost on walk-off situations, too. First game, we lost on walk-off field goal. Second game, we lose to Pitt. Kenny Pickett, who I think is the starting quarterback for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they won. They threw a fade in the end zone with a minute left to beat us in that game. And then the last bowl game, Liberty and Malik Willis just did us dirty.
Wow. So you're at Eastern Michigan. You're having fun, right? You're learning the position, clearly, because you've only been in it for 3 years. So you can always learn. You can always better yourself.
100%. Still am.
Yeah, perfect. Who there, or throughout your career so far, is there any mentors you want to shout out? Anybody that's influenced you?
Yeah. No, I think my parents are the biggest because they've come to every game, supported me in the highs, supported me in the lows. My special teams coordinator at Eastern Michigan, who brought me there, Jay Nunez, who's now at the University of Oklahoma doing special teams. He's sort of like a second father to me. And then my partner in crime out there, which is punter Jake Julian, who graduated last year, played with the Patriots for a little bit in preseason.
Wow.
This past preseason. Those combination of those 4 people out there, and then a man named Bruce Dishno, who introduced me to Athletes in Action, which helped me find my faith out there. Between those 5 people, they certainly shaped the direction of my college career and life.
Tying in faith and of course your family and everything, it's a big move going from PA out to Michigan. So how did you find that? Because sometimes a lot of people can't even handle from here to, let's say, Temple, or here to Pitt, missing family, missing friends, missing what you know. I mean, so you're moving out of state, picking up your whole life. What was that like?
Yeah, no, it was something that was the best for me. And big move, you said 514 miles.
Yeah.
Big, 8 hours. But no, it was the best possible thing that could have happened for me. And I encourage anyone that listens to this or doesn't listen to this, I always tell them, like, get out of Lebanon County even if it's for a couple months, like,
Yeah.
see what's out there, experience something different. Because the Midwest, it's a different culture, it's different landscape, different weather. It's just a whole lot different, and it helps shape you, especially when you're away from your family. Like I was on my own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Doing
Right.
everything, which was awesome. Because I also have two super supportive parents that have their hands on a lot in my life and have helped me a lot, which I'm more than thankful for. But just being out there and having to find my faith, perform athletically and academically, it was fun. It forces you to grow up quick.
You have to mature and manage time. Manage your
100%.
time correctly. Quick shout out, because you'd mentioned, and I apologize, my memory's bad, but the group you mentioned where you found, help find your faith in all this.
Yeah, so that's called Athletes in Action, and that's something that's on a lot of college campuses, predominantly at the Division I level, where it's a Christian-based group of athletes at a given school. They'll meet once a month to twice a month, and get together and just talk about their faith, go through whatever the leader for the group. So for me, it was Bruce Dishno, had planned for that monthly meeting, and just really being supported by a group of people that have the same interests at performing a high level athletically, but also off the field, spiritually.
Yeah.
Which was something I really, really benefited from. And then at Maryland, it was FCA, so Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Similar concept, just a different name. So between AIA and FCA, you can find either of those groups at every major Division I school.
That's awesome. I knew nothing about it. I'm sure a lot of the listeners didn't, but that's out there and available to you, because like I said, it can be tough anytime. Like I said, you leave your base, your family, your friends, everything you know, and you're just kind of thrown into this, especially being an athlete.
Yep.
Having to perform, get to practices, and then keep up with schoolwork. That's a lot.
Yeah, no, and I honestly dedicate my whole career and success, especially over the last 3 years, to my faith, to Jesus Christ, my Savior. Like that, because if you look at my stats from freshman year, even sophomore year, I wasn't good, wasn't even close to good. I was fortunate enough to have a job, win the job, and play, but nowhere near my potential. And I think you look at how my career turned and started going positive, it's when I dove more into my faith and realized why I am playing, why I do things, what my goal is at the end of the day.
You committed yourself more to your faith, and then in exchange or in return, you're seeing a benefit on the field. I definitely think they go hand in hand. I definitely do.
It's certainly not transactional, where it's like I read my Bible 5 times a day, so I'm gonna go 5 for 5 in the game.
Right.
But it just really put in perspective why I'm playing. I'm playing to use the gift that God gave me to bring glory to Him. I'm not playing for the 70,000 fans that are in the stands. So when I miss, I'm okay. Like I'm really good.
That's a great mindset to have.
And that's why I think I don't get nervous, and B, you're never going to catch me too emotional on the field. Good, bad, ugly.
You got to have that even keel.
Yeah, it's very rare to see me worked up on the field.
And it's interesting, before we started recording, I'd mentioned about my grandmother's church. I always call it that.
St. Mark's.
Thank you, St. Mark's. Yes,
Yep.
It was on the tip of my tongue. I'm like, I should say St. Mark's, because my grandmother used to be in the choir out there. She would sing, and I remember, you being a young guy and you go up and do the candle lighting and everything, especially around Christmas and the holidays. And the Deems were there.
Yep.
They'd always sing and everything. So it's amazing to see from there to where you are now, and that you're still keeping the faith and still investing in that.
100%. Now it's crazy how everything in life builds on each other, and it's the farther I go, the more I can look back and see how certain things impacted my life to help shape the direction I'm going and how things have happened.
Let me ask this: what do you think about Tim Tebow?
I think he's awesome. I love how open he is about his faith, not afraid to speak about anything. And a lot of times I like listening to him. He's got some stuff on YouTube I'll listen to when I go for a walk. Really, really good speaker with great values, and I think he's a really good man.
He seems like a great guy, very down to earth. He has a lot of charities he helps out with, and he really donates his time, to others. Let's get back to Eastern Michigan.
Yep.
And then how did you transfer to the University of Maryland?
Yeah, so my transfer year was actually my COVID year. So the 2020 season at Eastern Michigan, where we only played 6 games, that didn't count. So I got an extra year of eligibility, essentially. And my coach, Coach Nunez, had left for Oklahoma. Got a job over Oklahoma, home state, wife's family's from there. He called me up. I'm like, yeah, like he had turned down some job offers previously to stay for my last year and my punter Jake's last year. But when he got that at Oklahoma, I'm like, you got to take that. Like, there's no hard feelings for me for you taking that job. And we talked all season. Probably about once a week, he would ring me up or I would ring him up and we'd talk. But that's what caused me to transfer. Jake was gone. He had left for the draft and the New England Patriots. Coach Nunez was gone. So my two main guys at Eastern football were out. Like, I know I'm good enough. Let's go test the waters somewhere a little bit bigger. Entered the transfer portal and my phone started buzzing like right away. Like I was just ring. And my whole goal was to get somewhere before spring ball. So I could get there, do winter workouts with the guys, and they would really feel like I was a part of them. I didn't want to be a rental guy where I came in at the end of summer. I'm just there for 4 months of the season, then, all right, see you, bye. So I really got close with the guys out there. But my offers coming out of the transfer portal, I had Maryland, Rutgers, West Virginia, Liberty. So those were all places, and Virginia Tech. So those were all places I could go right away. I had some interest from some other schools like Duke, Oregon, Utah, some others too. But like I couldn't get there for the winter and spring ball.
Okay.
And that was one of my priorities. Like I need to be somewhere so I can get integrated with the team. Guys know who I am. They know what I'm about, what I'm going to bring to the table. I think looking back at this season, that really translated. I was a captain 3 times this year. Like the guys respected me. The guys knew what I'm about, and I knew what the guys were about and how to get the best out of them. So that was sort of my reasoning for going quick and early.
It shows that you care, because you're right. Just walking on and being like, oh yeah, I'm this stud kicker and this and that, and everyone's kind of like, oh, who's this guy? You know what I mean? But to help and be there to build the team, communicate with them, and they get to know you as a person, really, and know what you're about and get to know your character. Because a lot of times, I think people judge each other on what they see or on social media and this and that. But for you to invest that time, put that time in, I think it was the right decision for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
100%. And that's something I'm really thankful for that Coach Locks gave me the opportunity to do. Come in early and be an integral part of the team, really. That made all the difference throughout the season.
Yeah, what was it like playing for Coach Loxley?
He was awesome. I loved playing for him, honestly. He's a high-intensity guy. He knows what he wants, what the finished product he wants on the field is, how we get there. 'Cause he was at the University of Alabama. And I think he was co-OC in 2018 when they won the national championship. So he's been around Nick Saban, the Alabama football, where
the top tier.
He's seen what it takes to win, knows what it takes, and that's what he's trying to do at the University of Maryland, which I think is well on its way, having won back-to-back bowl games now. But he was just super. He's a player-centric coach, where he wants the guys to get and have everything that they feel they need to be successful. Big proponent of NIL, guys getting their paycheck. Like, he understands really well, and I think that's why a lot of guys really like playing for him. Now, he's intense, don't get me wrong. Like, he'll give you stuff as easy as he'll take it away if you're not acting to the standard that's set, which I think is an awesome way to, because it can't just be all give from the coach and not see a product or what you want.
Sounds like he holds the players to a high standard.
Extremely.
Yeah. So you mentioned NIL. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about it? Because it's something pretty new to college sports. For all the listeners, what is it?
NIL stands for name, image, and likeness, and that is related to the players in terms of their image. So before you couldn't, or let's just say Chad Ryland couldn't walk into A&M Pizza and they give me 10 free pizzas because I'm Chad Ryland. Whereas now they could in exchange for a Instagram post, a commercial, something that trades obviously either monetary amounts for ads or just anything commercialization of college sports, where that wasn't allowed before, but now it is.
And you fully support that?
120%. I'm all about the guys. If coaches can get paid to do commercials, coaches can leave whenever they want to hit the portal, I'm all about the players having rights to get those same things.
I definitely agree. I mean, at the end of the day, the players, and not the coaches, they put the time in also, but players are busting their ass out there and working very hard. And it is the athletes themselves that everybody's really there to see.
100%.
You know?
I think for some of these guys I've met to come from some pretty steep backgrounds in areas of the country where some of that NIL money makes all the difference, because there's guys that are sending their scholarship checks home because mom, dad, brother, sister need the extra help financially, and they can help provide it. So I think that NIL aspect really helps a lot of guys out. That people don't think about it.
I was going to
like
say
that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but it probably is huge, depending on the sum of money. But anything probably helps for some of these guys. So now, how do you balance your college life and what must be some intense training?
I'm obviously done collegiately now, and I'm going to be transitioning to pre-draft. But while I was in college, working school, and obviously football, it's a lot. There's some long nights and early mornings where I really don't feel like doing schoolwork after practice, but I know I have to do it, because if I don't do it, all of a sudden I'm ineligible, and then I'm not playing on Saturdays, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, what the hell, Chad? Like, what? You can't handle your business. I'm all about doing your job. Do your job. You don't have to do anybody else's, but do your job. And that comes academically and then athletically as a part. But no, I'm a big procrastinator too with schoolwork.
Are you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
No, I don't do my schoolwork early.
Okay.
I usually wait, but I always get it done. And I've always gotten good grades. So it's ironic how it works out that because my dad used to murder me for that in high school. Because I'd wait till the last minute in high school. And
and he'd probably be like, why are you waiting?
Somehow I'm still got good grades in National Honor Society, all that, academic, all MAC, whatever. Like we're rolling. It works.
That's funny. I would have never thought of that.
It's a balance game.
Well, right. You know what's important. You get done first, and put it off. You get it, but you always get it done, like you said.
Yeah, do easy, do hard.
There you go. What training did you have to endure to become one of the best kickers in the Big Ten?
I think a lot of it as a kicker is a lot of my own off season, where I'm going in the off season to work with specific coaches and get around groups of guys that are talented guys and can drive me to get better. But I think a lot of it, growth for me, was off the field. So mentally, how my mindset is off the field, how I interpret things, how I go about my daily life was a big factor. And then two, just the recovery off the field. I went from not really doing anything to now I would cold tub every day during the season. Yeah. And my body felt as good as it's felt all year. Like I never hit that mid-season slump where it's like I'm not performing because I'm tired. I felt energized. I felt fresh every Saturday. But yeah, no, it's just never really taking a day off, or not, I shouldn't say day off, but never taking my foot off the gas to tap the brake. I might get off the throttle, just like ease up and go a little bit slower.
Right.
But at the end of the day, my foot is always on the gas pedal.
On the gas, you're moving forward.
There's people in front of me that I want to jump, and there's people that behind me that are trying to jump me.
I love it, right.
It's an everyday grind, and it's what you put in is what you get out. And for me, I've seen that pretty true, because I was the 24th best kicker in my class, which is relatively low. That's not necessarily a Power 5 type ranking, but it's a group of 5. So I ended up going to Eastern like I did, and then the time and experience I got out of Eastern helped propel me to where I'm at now.
When you say like working out, do you have a gym around here that you want to shout out that you go to regularly?
I don't actually. I don't work out. I never work out.
What?
When I'm home, I'm usually home for 3 or 4 days, and I'm chilling out.
Gotcha.
So like these 3 days,
it's a short visit.
I'm chilling out. I'll stretch. I'll do some core. I'll do some push-ups in the living room, but I'm not lifting too heavy. I'm always our weight room down at the University of Maryland, and people can look it up on YouTube and Google, whatever, is top tier. He's got all the sensors, the gadgets, the cameras, the iPad. Like it's top notch. So we're spoiled
that's
down
impressive.
there in terms of the tools to work out with.
Yeah. Okay. I just wasn't sure if there's anybody locally, but that makes sense because your time here, you're spending with family, friends.
Yep.
Like you said, kind of taking your foot off the gas a little bit just to kind of recuperate and get a little bit of, rest and relaxation.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I'm in full relax mode.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
perfect.
Yeah.
This is a good one because this impressed me. I'm like, this guy's amazing. When you nailed your longest field goal, 53 yards against Michigan, and in the same game, you hit a 52-yarder as well.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind? I mean, you're playing Michigan, and you hit a 53 yards. That's really impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's a testament to the hard work that I put in all 4 years of my career, and then also the work of the guys. Long snapper, Ethan Goff, and then the holder, Colton Spangler, and the guys blocking. game day, it's a true team effort to make kicks. I don't think enough people realize that. NFL, college, high school, like, it's a full operation.
It takes everybody.
It's not just the kicker, because bad snap screws up the op, screws up the kicker. Bad hold botches the kick. But at the big house, 110,000 people.
Yeah.
I went to school right down the road. A lot of people don't know Eastern Michigan's only 5 minutes down the road from the University of Michigan.
Okay.
So it's like the little brother to Michigan. So I spent 4 years in Michigan, nightlife at Ann Arbor, everything Ann Arbor, seeing all these Michigan fans, Michigan this, that, the other, kind of how Penn State is here. So deep down, I had that sort of personal vendetta against Michigan. And honestly, a lot of these bigger schools, because no one took a shot on me, big school-wise.
Yeah.
Eastern was the only school that gave me a real offer.
Yeah, it gave you a shot.
So I had that personal vendetta all year of just wanting to go out, prove myself against these big schools. And I was so dialed in for that game, I don't even remember the kicks. Wow. Like, I almost black out when I'm on the field. I'm that locked into what I need to do. But that first one, the 53 going towards the south end zone, that was a tough end to kick in. I had struggled all game, or warm-up, going that way, missed a couple even shorter, and you watch their guy Jake Moody that game, he missed a 43-yarder, like, bad left, and then I hit the 53 going that way. I knew I had the leg to hit it, but everything had to go right, and fortunate for us, everything did go right.
Yeah.
Trusted the training and preparation, and it worked.
Shout out to Ethan and
Colton. Yeah.
Shout out
Ethan
to those
Colton.
guys. Wow.
100%.
Yeah, I guess that does make a lot of sense, because if the snap's bad or the hold's off, overall it'll affect how you kick the ball.
Yeah, 1.3 seconds. That's what we're rolling in.
Really?
Yeah, snap, hold, kick is 1.3 seconds.
So that's not a lot of time to correct anything, or you got to get it perfect on that first try.
Yeah, no, you're rolling full speed. Wow. You're rolling full speed.
Is there, I know you say you kind of black out because you're so focused when you're kicking, but what goes through your mind before a big game?
Honestly, I'm just excited to showcase my ability at this point. Like, I want the stands to be full, like as many people as possible, and I want the lights to be on. I want the sky cam behind me. Like, I want...
Dang, you love the pressure. Like,
I want it. That gives me my adrenaline fix.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I tell people ask me sometimes, like, what makes you confident? Like, how do you go about things? I'm like, I'm delusional almost about how good I am at what I do. Like, I'm the best, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
That's sort of the mindset I've adopted over the last 2 years. And it's worked out. But at the same time, I know I'm obviously not the best, because you guys got guys like Justin Tucker out there for the Ravens nailing everything in sight.
Yeah.
So I know there's a long way to go, but I'm also confident in my ability. And any kick I'm out there to attempt, like, I can make it.
I love that confidence, and I think it's huge. Like I always say here at Colortech, like, I'm a big proponent of promoting ourselves and what we do, like on Google, on Facebook, on social media, things like that, because at the end of the day, it's like, who's going to talk about you, or who's going to talk about your capabilities more than yourself? Like, who's going to believe in you more than yourself? And a lot of times it's just you and your close circle. Maybe your family, for sure, hopefully they support, and then you got your couple friends maybe that really believe in you,
Yep.
But a lot of times there's a lot of naysayers, and people won't take that risk on you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I want to be confident, not cocky. Like I mentioned, Moody missed a kick going that way, but Jake's also a guy that I respect a ton at Michigan. We're going to be the top 2 guys coming out in this year's draft. And he had hit a 50-yarder going the opposite direction that game. So, like, he's a very talented kicker. I don't want anything to say like I was trying to throw him under the bus, because I'm certainly not. But no, I have a lot of respect for anyone that kicks and performs well at that high of a level, and he's certainly a guy I respect.
There you go. The next one I want to segue into is Duke's Mayo Bowl. You guys won 16 to North Carolina State. They had 12. Now, I'm not good at numbers, but 10 of those 16 points came from you.
Yeah, no, I was fortunate to have 3 field goal opportunities and then the 1 extra point. I was glad I got to go out with 3 field goals that mattered. At the end of the day, that's all I want. I want kicks that matter. I don't want we're up by 50 and I got to kick a 32-yarder because we got the third-string quarterback in and we stalled out. Like, I want ball games. I want to make an impact.
Well, you certainly did that game.
Yeah, that game I was able to, and Bank of America Stadium is what it's called, the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
So it just felt right. Everything about that day, that game felt right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just on it. You felt
I felt incredible that game.
Because I saw it was like 37-some thousand in attendance, and then I forget, some 2 million or something watching on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there was a good crowd there. probably 2/3 of them NC State fans. But it got loud a couple times, and they only had the lower bowl filled. They didn't even open up the top section.
What is it like? Because I've only, played, of course, here at Cedar Crest. I didn't get to play in college or anything. What is the noise like at these big games? Like, what is the atmosphere like?
It gets loud, especially for a field goal, because everyone knows it's 4th down. There's points on the line, so go to a place like the Big House where playing Michigan in front of 110,000.
Yeah.
And probably 109,000 of those are Michigan fans. It gets pretty loud. But at the same time, they're there to watch me, watch us. So I want to give them a show. I want to make it look good. I want to do it in style, and then we roll. And we were fortunate to do that this year. But big games in general, I rather play in big games than small games.
Yeah, and have it be
loud. Make it loud. Make it loud. Turn it up.
I'm loving it. Awesome. No, Chad, that's great because, like I said, the attitude, the positivity, and that mindset, I think will help take you a long way. So I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What's your favorite recent achievement?
My favorite recent achievement? That's tough. I've been blessed a lot recently. Just got invited to the NFL Combine yesterday. Got invited to the Reese's Senior Bowl a couple months, 2 months ago maybe it was. But I don't know, getting that Combine invite yesterday was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's what I thought it would be.
Yeah, no,
that's awesome.
Not everybody gets to do that, and that's something. I thought I would get the invite, but at the end, you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And seeing that email pop up that I got invited, I was like, wow, like I'm going to the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Like,
yeah, that's awesome. Man. Seriously, Chad.
Thank you.
I had to look up some numbers, and I'm like, I gotta check into this. In the United States, roughly 339 million people. And my wife's like, well, you can't really use that stat because that includes babies and kids and people that never played football. I said, okay, you're right. So I looked up the amount of football players is roughly 72,000, roughly. And out of that, I think it was only 340 get an invite to the Combine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. It's going to give me a chance to kick in front of some GMs, coaches that not everyone gets that chance to.
Right. It's your opportunity, and you've earned it, man. Seriously, congrats.
Thank you.
Definitely congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So now, you said after, I think you're leaving here in a couple of days to go down to Florida, right?
Correct.
So what's that routine going to be like when you get down there?
No, I'm going to work out, do a lot of my pre-draft down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and then I'm going to bounce around to a few other locations too, like Bradenton, Dallas, San Diego, just to get a few sessions in with a couple coaches and guys. But I'm going to be kicking down there probably 4 or 5 times a week, lifting 3, maybe 4, and then running probably 2. But every day it's going to be something, with maybe Sunday being a completely down day, just to kind of get everything back out under me, or back underneath me. But it's going to be full speed. The season went quick. Yeah. This is going to fly by even faster with pre-draft, because each month leading up to the draft sort of has a pillar event, with January being the Reese's Senior Bowl. So I'll be playing in that. February being the Combine. March being Pro Day, where all the scouts come to the University of Maryland and get a chance to work out for them. And then April's the draft. So each month sort of has a big event that I got to really try and ball out at and do my best.
Yeah, show up, be yourself, do your thing, and have fun.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You know what I mean? Enjoy it, because not a lot of people get this opportunity. No. So I wanted to ask you, how do you practice or prepare, like kicking in cold environments?
If you look back on it, my whole career, I have kicked in the cold. Michigan,
That's true.
I was in Michigan for 4 years, and Pennsylvania all other years of my life. So this will be my first time sort of doing some serious training somewhere warm, which I'm excited to. But that week before the Senior Bowl, I'm going to come back up to Ohio, kick in the cold there, because I have a coach that's out of there that worked with me all 4 years. And I'm going to kick in some pretty shitty weather.
There you go.
That way, no matter what I get in Mobile,
right,
I'm fully prepared for it, which is huge. I pride myself in being a cold weather kicker. I'm not an SEC guy where they get to kick in 70 degrees and sunny year-round. I'm a MAC Big Ten kicker that throw in the 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds, the 30 to 40-degree temperatures every Saturday. Like, let's roll. That's where I make my money.
I love it. So what would you say you are most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about, obviously, kicking footballs, but just life. like my faith and life and how I live life, in terms of how I interact with people and the impact I make on their lives. I want to make a positive impact on everybody I encounter. And I don't want anything that comes out of me to not be genuine, not be the real me. Like I won't put on a front for anybody. And I'd mentioned to you, like I'm unapologetic about my faith. So like when people ask about it, like I'm going to tell you about it. I know you're not supposed to talk about money, religion, like politics, all that.
Yeah.
Like no, like I don't give a shit. Like I'm going to talk about this. Like if you don't want to, walk away.
Right. You don't have to listen.
No, exactly.
Change the channel.
You can talk about everything else, but can't talk about that for some reason. Well, I can.
No, I really love that. Seriously.
Thank you.
So now what would you say, because a lot of times your passion and what motivates you is different. What do you think?
I like to golf.
You like to golf?
I'm not very good at it, but I like to golf.
Oh man, jeez, we might have to go sometime. I'm not a good golfer, but I like golfing with buddies.
That's perfect. We'll be perfect for each other.
Be great.
Yeah.
Have a couple drinks, and just
oh yeah,
better ball. I always play better ball.
Yep, I like it.
Oh,
we'll be in good shape there.
Yeah, we'd be set.
Yeah.
So what motivates you? Your religion, family, things like that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I mentioned this earlier, but I was truly given a gift by God with my ability to kick, handle pressure, and just everything that entails. And I want to use my gift to the fullest ability to obviously perform, but also use that platform to hopefully spread the word and just like go about things the right way.
Yeah.
I always want to do things the right way. Never just everything be genuine. Like I just want to live my life to the fullest.
Yeah, you don't want to half-ass anything, especially at the level you're going. Future plans, like you said, NFL Combine. You got so much going on. I guess how are you gonna take in this moment? How are you gonna enjoy it? Obviously, are your parents they're gonna be with you?
Yeah, they'll come. They'll come to the Senior Bowl. They might pop out to Indianapolis. But training-wise, I'm gonna be on my own with coaches down in Florida, Dallas, wherever. I'm really just trying to soak it all in. Like even at the bowl game, like I took a good moment before I started warming up to just look around. Mm-hmm. And then same thing at the end of the game, like just actually stand there, wiggle my toes, be where my feet are, and be like, holy cow, like I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina in the Panthers Stadium playing a bowl game. And I did that a lot of times this year just because I'm only going to get to play in the big house once. I'm only going to play at Beaver Stadium once.
Right.
Like you only get to do some of these things one time, and I don't want to pass it up or miss it.
Helps center you, I'd imagine, helps keep you focused, like you said.
It does.
Yeah, and your end goal.
It really does.
No, that's awesome. So how can our listeners connect with you and follow along on what you're doing?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at c.ryland38, Twitter c_Ryland38, although those numbers should be changing here soon, hopefully.
Okay.
With an addition to signing with an NFL club. But yeah, social media, I usually I try and answer every DM I get, everything that's a positive DM. Obviously the negative ones, we throw those out. I've gotten some good ones in my career.
Oh, forget the haters.
Oh yeah. No, I always read them too. That's what's like.
Probably motivates you knowing you now as much as I do. It probably does.
I like to read them. I'll send them in the group chat with my buddies and be like, someone just called me a Fruit Loop, but oh well, like. Dang. And guys get a kick out of them.
Yeah,
I do too. It comes with the position I'm in. I like it. Like I like that. I don't know. It's not gamesmanship because it's just some random dude behind a computer shooting you a text.
Right.
But like everything that's a thank you, like hey, whatever. Can you help me with this kicking? Like I'm a kicker from wherever. Like what do you think of this? I'm like I will always respond back.
Any young athletes out there that want some help or some feedback, it sounds like Chad would be the guy. I know when I messaged you about coming on the podcast, and we've known each other a little bit here and there, but I was impressed because I'm like, here's a guy, you're kicking in a bowl game, you're going to the combine, and you're taking the time to respond to me. A guy that you knew a little bit through Blue Cardinal Photography and taking sports pictures and, like I said, at church a little bit, but I really appreciate that because
I appreciate having me on.
Too. I thought it was cool. So before we close out, is there anything else that you'd like the listeners to know?
I think one thing that's cool about my story that I sort of like people to know is like you don't have to be bred from age 5 doing sports to really try and make it. It's all what you put in and put in consistently. I only started kicking my junior year, and now here I am preparing for the NFL draft. So it's just because you haven't done something for your whole life doesn't mean you can't start now and be really, really, really good at it.
There you go. Put your mind to it. Get after it.
Yeah.
I said to my wife before you came on, I'm like, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. So for me, it's always been like David Akers. That was our guy. That was our kicker. And I'm like, this Chad Ryland, I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see the future, but I said, I think he's going to go places and he's going to be really, really good for an NFL team out there. So, I just wish you the best of luck. Keep doing what you're doing. Be yourself and, represent Lebanon County and your family. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's what it's all about.
No, I appreciate you having me on too. This was fun.
Yeah.
I like having the headphones on, the mic.
Yeah,
This is sweet.
You got the look. We'll have to get some more pictures.
Yeah.
And for all the listeners out there, American Grown Podcast, just search it on Instagram, Facebook, and you'll be able to see Chad, the Bible, the Eastern Michigan ring.
Yeah, four-year starter letter winner. Not everybody gets one of those, so I thought it was pretty cool.
Definitely.
I don't wear it a whole lot, so I figured that's the occasion
it's
to wear
perfect.
it.
Yeah. I saw it right away. I was like, oh, what's he got on? And then, of course, the Reese's Senior Bowl as well.
Reese's Senior Bowl will be coming up. Get a bowl ring here soon, too, so I'll get ringed up.
You're going to be like Tom Brady.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Fill all my fingers.
I love it. Awesome. So, Chad Ryland on the American Grown Podcast in the Colortech Creative Solutions Studios. Thank you for joining me.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome, Chad. Thank you, man. Seriously.
Love it.
To see photos of today's guests and more content, just search American Grown Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review.
If you'd like to be a featured guest on the podcast, please direct message or email Austin at americangrownpod@gmail.com.